All right, y'all. You already freaking know. Destiny 2 ViDoc, Light in the Darkness. Let's check it out.
I know what you're
Ooh,
wondering.
they got Mars already. Let's freaking go.
And what is false?
The Witch Queen is an unsettling mystery. Our biggest foe, Savathun, has our grandest tool, the light.
It's paying off narrative threads that we planted.
I love how excited the devs get for like showcasing.
I'm here to protect
the game.
humanity.
Oh, sick.
How do we stop this?
The stakes in the universe are rising, and it's the greatest challenge that we've ever faced.
We're shedding that dogma of light equals good, darkness equals bad. We're really entering the mists and trying to discern what's in front of us and what's lurking just underneath the surface.
The worm gods, y'all. Shoot.
There are a lot of bombshells in the Witch Queen narrative. And that's just scratching the surface of what we're going to get into this year.
Light in the darkness. Let's freaking go. I love, dude, they've got
Witch
the OG
Queen
ship.
and Season
Back
of
to
Arisen
Mars,
is
baby.
Chapter 1 and the beginning of the end for the Light and Darkness saga.
We're really getting to the
Light and
core of what it
Darkness
means to be a guardian. We are looking at and asking big questions about the light and darkness.
We have a big bad that we've been anticipating for a really long time coming back in the form of Savathun.
Savathun's had a hand in most of the major conflicts that we've been involved with.
We've heard about Savathun for years and just bits and pieces, and then like you see it slowly building
this DLC
over
is going
seasons
to be
until we come to this huge critical point.
Savathun's no longer just someone you hear about.
She's not just interfering in little ways. She's now ready to take center stage.
Sight. 1, 2, 3.
Savathun, she's larger than life. We wanted to make her feel imposing and very regal and dancing through motion in some way.
The light offers us a fresh start.
She's very manipulative. She is very ethereal, but she also has like that creepiness to her as well.
You know what's sick?
She probably
They did all this in the garage.
This pyramid ship problem
Bro,
that's coming our
they
way.
did all this
but
from
the reality
home. That
of the
is so
situation
freaking
is
cool.
Savathun is only on Savathun's side. We've outlived our purpose, and it is to Savathun's benefit to wipe us off that chessboard.
What sidearm is that
among
that
us.
they've got?
She has played us for
that the
fools. She knows us
Devil's
inside
Room?
and out. And she's
Watch
been
on the
a
table.
step ahead of us like the whole way. So how do you beat someone like that?
It isn't too late. You can still be forgiven. Be careful.
I'll hold you to it.
In order to beat
almost
Savathun, we need
ironic
to understand Savathun.
He's saying that.
Her throne world is a manifestation of Savathun's own personality, which is in Witch Queen going through a transformation through the light.
She has these areas that she's kind of trying to shun and push away.
Interesting. So
For
like
the old hive
darkness
areas,
area,
it's
she's
much more
trying to get-
atmospheric. It's very dense. It's very claustrophobic. It's spooky. Then when you make your way into the
Interesting.
Lucent hive area, it's a lot more open and broad. It's
Brighter
definitely
because of the
brighter. It's
light.
definitely more lively.
That's sick.
We want people to look at it like an impressionist painting, something that's very pretty from far away, but as you get closer, it's not really what it seems. It's very unsettling.
There's that sidearm.
You're looking at shapes,
Probably
you're looking
exotic.
at these things within the world, and you're not entirely sure what they are, and you have to get close and you have to investigate.
What's really going to be exciting for players is that they're going to get to play that part of psychic detective, trying to solve the many mysteries
Yes,
of the
dude.
throne world.
That dude, the SMG is sick. I'm hyped
Witch
for
Queen
this, y'all.
campaign, I think,
the
is
fact that
probably
they're
the
adding
most ambitious campaign
more
we've made in a
puzzles.
very long time.
That's what Destiny's been missing.
We're building the definitively
fusion.
Destiny campaign, so leaning into the journey you can find in exotic missions or the mechanics you might find in a dungeon.
Heck
You
yeah.
have to kind of think your way through. You have to figure out, like, hey, what do I need to do next in order to get to the end of this?
We've got Savathun, right? The Queen of Lies. So this campaign is full of surprises.
Savathun has all these abilities, and you got to make sure that all of the abilities of the bosses would be something worthy of her. And as I kept thinking about this, you know, I felt like I was really becoming Savathun.
We've also added the legendary
heck
difficulty,
yeah.
which is called Become Legend.
Legendary.
It's not for the
Campaign,
faint of
baby.
heart. It's gonna be loaded with these moments that are gonna be
You already know when
almost
this
like
comes
teeth
out, we're gonna be
gnashing,
doing
but when you
straight
get through those
legendary.
encounters, you're gonna feel like really accomplished.
Double rewards, yeah.
As people who have worked on raids and dungeons before, being able to broaden that experience for any kind of player who comes in is really important.
If the Witch
That's a
Queen is the
sick
psychic
emote.
detective, fantasy, and journey, then Season of the Risen is that same detective
Season
throwing on
of
their
the
flak jacket,
Risen,
defending
y'all.
Earth from the Hive Guardians and the Lucent Hive and Savathun herself.
Okay.
When Savathun shows up on our doorstep with the light, the first person to lend us help is Keitel.
You want us to hit them? I need us to hit them.
She's got this light suppressing technology that the Cabal were using in Season of the Chosen, and now she's going to help us use that against the Lucent Hive.
When you're working with Keitel, she has a different approach. It's not about asking questions, it's about getting in there and extracting.
We don't really understand what happened when Savathun actually was able to take the light. So the campaign in Season of the Risen in many ways is about that story. Guardians need to stop Savathun's advance beyond the throne world. And Savathun poses an existential threat to everyone because she basically has an
Was that
undead
the
army.
EDZ or was that the Cosmodrome?
In fighting the Lucent Brood, this isn't our first time in the game fighting other light bearers, but it is the first time that we'll be facing other light bearers that have much more relentless
They got a
motives.
hood. I wonder if you'll be able to tell. I mean, other
When
than
you
them
look
using
at
supers.
these Hive Guardians and when they do their
I wonder if
abilities,
you're able to tell
you immediately make that
what
connection.
class they
like,
are.
oh, they are using my powers against me. As soon as we see the Knight pop its super and it has 2 shields, you
Shoot.
immediately are like, oh yeah, I see that connection. And then it's like, and then you're like, it hits you with those things and then you're dead. And it's just an amazing experience.
The Guardians themselves kind of feel like a fire team that you're fighting against. You got every class represented.
The Acolyte, when that character casts, does very similar thing as the player, like the Arc Wizard. The sparks go out, it's ready to go. If you're not smart about it, if you're not paying attention, you are essentially going to have to play that fight over again.
If you're successful,
Okay, so the Knights are
in taking
probably
down
the
one of
Titan,
these Hive
Acolyte's
units that are
Hunter,
wielding the
and
light,
the Wizard is a
you actually have to
warlock.
go up and kill their ghosts.
That was like one of my favorite things that we were able to do in this game is just that moment where you crush the ghost.
It's kind of this moral dilemma. A ghost is your companion, and now suddenly you have one in your hand and you're about to crush it.
The first time it happens, you're like looking at your hand like, I can't believe what I've just done. Am I doing this? Should I be doing this?
I have a ghost.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
What,
Like,
what
what
is
does this
going
Savathun and her Lucent Brood are the most dangerous enemies we've faced so far. And so we're going to need better, more powerful weapons and tools to fight against that threat.
We did a bunch of work early on looking at various different types of weapons we could add to the sandbox.
We wanted to introduce a special weapon archetype that was effective more at a middle range, but also had these kind of additional roles associated
Dude, I'm
with
so
it.
curious, like,
The glaive is
how
a
is the
projectile
glaive gonna
weapon,
be
and it is a
compared to a
shield,
shotgun,
and it's a melee
you know?
weapon. We wanted to keep
It's
that
gotta be
experience
heavy
in first person.
power.
It has an immediacy that you don't really get when you're using a sword because the camera is so much further back. Because this is also a projectile weapon with a slower moving projectile, the onus of skill on aiming these weapons is about leading and compensating for the speed of the projectile and
That's gonna be
anticipating
sick.
that. If you're in
I
a
feel like it's
really
gonna take a
difficult
minute to get those
encounter
two.
and one of
Yeah,
your
maybe it's
teammates
exotic
dies
for the
somewhere out in the
beginning
open where you
campaign.
normally wouldn't be able to get to them, you can bring that shield up and actually get the revive and then fall back. Glaives originate with Savathun trying
That's
to
it.
steal an extremely powerful weapon for her own use, and players will use the weapon crafting recipes that they find throughout the campaign in order to reconstruct this incredibly powerful and incredibly ancient weapon.
Y'all, the weapon crafting system is
When you
about
put
to be
together your
so
glaive in the campaign,
legendary.
you just get a taste that that's what you want to do
We're
for
gonna be able to create
the rest
whatever
of the weapons
weapon
that
we
you get.
want.
Weapon crafting lets you
Basically.
target a specific role and go and build that, and you know how long it's going to take you to get there, and you get
Yes.
exactly the thing that you want.
I really want to see
The
what people
thoughtless.
do with it, and like the feedback that we're gonna
Dude,
get,
Sniper Boys,
and
let's
people
go.
sharing all of the things that
We're
they're
about to get a
doing with
ton
that
of
new
new
system.
weapons.
You're creating your guardian,
The
and
glaive
you
is a
want to be able to
legendary.
shape your guardian into what you want them to be. And this gives us a great opportunity to continue to do that.
Huh.
This is a really big season for weapons in particular. We've got 8 brand new exotics. The Osteostriga exotic submachine gun. This is something which Guardians have made, but it's modeled after weapons of sorrow, like Thorn and Touch of Malice. Fires swarms of tiny homing projectiles that land on a target and then explode in this poison burst. We have an exotic machine gun where the whole idea is be the Colossus. You can launch a barrage of up to 20 homing missiles.
It's a comical amount of projectiles on the screen.
Bro, it's literally a Warcliffe machine gun.
And the exotic perks tie deeply into the mechanics of the classes. I think they're going to be really cool additions to build crafting.
So there's legendary and exotic blades.
We've got, you know, the usual suite of raid weapons, destination, activity, seasonal. I recounted it this morning, and I think it's about 50 new weapons.
You're going to have 2 new exotic armor for each class, totaling 6, 1 stasis, 1 non-stasis. The Titan stasis exotic casts your barricade instead of, you know, this Traveler's Light and the Rally Barricade. You create a giant wall of ice. Even though this thing is massive, you still get all the benefits of a Rally Barricade. Warlock,
that's gonna be broken.
Void exotic. We called them the Devouring Rift legs because we wanted Empowering Rift to feel like it had a place in endgame content the way that Healing Rift does.
Sick.
Empowering Rift doesn't heal you. Well, what if it did?
In Season 16, you're going to see a massive revamp to the Void subclass.
It just combos both of the rifts.
All 3 classes. This is a huge update that
Those
will
are
allow
gonna be,
players
like,
to
essential.
build craft in ways that they've never done before.
One of the things we wanted to do is create a core set of verbs like we did with Stasis.
Anyone can run suppressors now. I think that's the pretty cool thing.
I'm going to be running Suppressor Grenade probably.
We wanted you to feel like you were the energy vampire.
Hunter
feel like you were the
with
Night
suppressor
Stalker.
gates.
Feel like you were that protector, that big Sentinel Titan. So you're going to see things like Bastion, a new Titan aspect, where you take your big old Sentinel shield, slam it into the ground, and create this void barricade that's going to apply overshield to you and your buddies.
My favorite aspect is probably
Void 3.0 is going to be so
As this
freaking
warlock
awesome.
controlling space and time, I'm able to rip a hole into another dimension and then pull out this little like sentient black hole. Whenever I target an enemy, my little black hole buddy is going to fly over there and start draining their life force.
The Void 3.0 update is really setting the stage for how we're thinking
That
about
is
updating
sick.
subclasses for the rest of the year.
We're going to extend this philosophy
Warlock's
to
gonna be
Solar
busted
and Arc.
too.
Solar obviously is going to be about burning, but there's this other component to Solar, and that's healing. Arc is all about chaining. It's all about lightning, direct attacks, quickness. We're going to take the fantasies that you know and love today. We're going to embellish them. So what you'll see is like all of the new abilities, all the new actions you take, reinforce that to the core. Pretty excited about it.
Y'all,
Witch Queen is very
Void
much the
3.0
culmination
about to
of the
be
last 6 to 7
nasty.
years of just Destiny all together. And really, this is
that's
starting the road to the final showdown.
Launching
but
with
things
this
aren't
new
necessarily
DLC,
just dark and light anymore.
new
There's
season,
a lot more nuance
new
in the game.
weapons. Oh my gosh. It's about to be insane.
It's going to be a real fight. Players have something that they're really going to be challenged by.
I can't wait for everyone to find out what's been going on with Savathûn. Like, I'm excited.
You Guardians are so
It would be
clever,
both.
aren't you?
That armor just looks sick.
From the throne world to the campaign to the customizable build crafting, it all comes together to make Destiny feel really new and fresh.
We've got more Destiny coming this year than any other year before.
Let's
It's one of the most
freaking go.
ambitious releases we've ever put together.
I'm also
the team
curious
is firing
about,
on all cylinders.
Will Mars be a playable area?
Tell me, Guardian, what do you think you're going to do?
Yes, sir. Let's freaking go. Hype train in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. If you're hype, drop a like if you enjoyed the ViDoc. We're going to have a ton of new content coming in hot with the release of the new DLC. So subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.